Our next inductee is the head and assistant football coach at 4 schools in Westmoreland County for 45 years. His Jeanette teams won 3 section titles, and his 94 squad was WPIAL AA runner-up. His Penn Trafford teams won 5 section titles, and his 97 squad is the quad A runner-up. Head and assistant track coach at Jeanette High School for 17 years. For 12 years, District 7 representative to the Pennsylvania Scholastic Football Coaches Association, serving as president in 2000. Pennsylvania Big 33 head coach in 2003, and inducted into the Clarion University Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 2005. A Ferrante Memorial Award recipient just last year, and now Hall of Fame inductee. Please welcome Art Tragesser.
I have to tell you, I recently moved to Cleveland last Wednesday.
Okay, thanks for coming, Coach.
That's just good. So I get up Thursday morning, turn on the radio, get a Cleveland station. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. So I'm not too tech savvy, but I got KDKA on my radio. So there was being at least one person in Cleveland every morning listening. I'd like to thank Tick and Paul for your help and this great honor that I received today. Thank you very much. 45 years of coaching went by pretty fast, but the first group of people that I'd like to thank are the students, because I was a teacher, and athletes that I had the chance to coach. There's so many of them in these different school districts, and I still get very excited when I'm out somewhere and I hear someone yell, "Coach, Coach," or "Hey, Mr. T." And I know it's one of my former players or one of my former students. It was just a great honor to have an opportunity to work with the young people in Western Pennsylvania for those 45 years. I always considered coaching a fraternity, and I'm so honored tonight that a lot of the guys that I work with are here. And not only the coaches that I work with, but also the other high school coaches, even college coaches and pro coaches that have helped me along the way, in my career. It's been great. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention a few of these guys. Bob Murphy, who I coached with for 26 years at Jeanette. When you coach this long with people, your family's intertwined in your life. Your children are born, they get married, and unfortunately, you have deaths, in your family. So really, these guys become family to you. Eli Visnick, I coached 17 years with at both Penn Trafford and at Norwin. And a childhood friend of mine, longtime friend, Jim Rankin, who coached at North Allegheny. Him and I go back a long way, and I always remember the many hours we spent on Jim's front porch discussing the works of Shakespeare and doing our homework. But he provided me with a lot of help during my years coaching. And also a special person that's, one of my biggest supporters and help is Bill Priaco and his son Dan. I greatly appreciate all their help. And to all you other guys that I work with and all my other fellow coaches in high school, thank you very much for all your support. My extended family, I know Tragesser doesn't sound like it, but my grandfather arrived in this country in 1906 from Italy. So every Sunday was at Grandma and Grandpa's house for spaghetti. And all my uncles and aunts and cousins were there, and some of them are here tonight. Big supporters. We were raised like brothers and sisters, so it's nice to see some of those people here. And my wife's family. My wife's family is from Emsworth, and Mr. O'Malley is from. She's one of 10, and they're the Lawries, and a lot of the Lawries are here tonight. And both my brother-in-law George and my nephew Scott also played at Clarion and graduated from Clarion. Basketball, Scott played football. And my father-in-law actually did go to the Ivy League school. He went to Princeton and was an outstanding football and basketball player for Princeton University. That would be George Lawrie. Sitting in the back, a lot of my teammates and friends from Clarion are here, and how special it is to have you here tonight, because our lives are also intertwined. My wife Dorothy, I met my wife Dorothy Clarion and these people, we have such fond memories of it. I hope you stick around later because we want to, hash out some of those old stories. From Jeanette, where I graduated, I went to Clarion, and I didn't realize what a great impact that would have on my life. Thank God for Coach Jacks. You talk about mentors, he was the greatest. And I had such respect for him, and I had a chance to see him tonight. Clarion had their big golf outing today, and he drove all the way down here just to attend this, to be with me tonight. And I greatly appreciate it. Now, he told me a story when we were kids, when we were players, that, he played at Peabody High School, and I don't know if he's kidding me or not, so if any of you older gentlemen here played at Peabody High School, we were complaining about field conditions one day. He said, in high school, they used to oil our field at Peabody. Oil it, put oil on it. So I said, Coach, that's not true. So I wanted to, get this story verified if you actually oiled the field at Peabody High School.
They did all cities.
They did? I don't think you're allowed to do that today. On a sadder note, the Clarion football family lost two really outstanding people. Chuck Roslavich and Gene Sobolewski passed away recently. Coach Roslavich was my position coach. And again, great respect. It was such a great time in my life, to be at Clarion. And, I just can't say enough about those two guys. After I graduated from Clarion, I went back to Jeanette and coached for 27 years. Again, I'm so fortunate because I was hired by Coach Joe Musey, to coach at Jeanette. And for 17 years I was an assistant, and 10 years I was a head coach. But I learned so much from Joe. Our first staff meeting was in Joe's kitchen with our old 16mm projector, using his refrigerator as our screen. And we had some long practices, and we worked hard. And I knew how hard we worked when I started calling my wife Joe. From Jeanette, I moved on to Penn Trafford. And one of the first people that I asked for advice about this move to Penn Trafford was Coach Musey. And he says, Art, if you want to leave Jeanette, he said, Penn Trafford's the place to go because there's good people there. And when I got to Penn Trafford, that's exactly right. There were a lot of good people there. My main man, Mr. Retesic down there, was the principal. And I don't know what he thought. I wasn't going to teach her something, but he observed me on the first day of school, my first day at Penn Trafford, second period. That usually doesn't happen because that's a lot of busy work that you have to get done. But he was a great principal, great person to work with, always supported me. And the greatest thing about Mr. Retesic, he was fair, but he did everything in the best interest of the kids. And he was tough. At times he was tough. Also at Penn Trafford, Mr. Kelly, the AD. What a great person for me. And I knew Mr. Kelly from back when I played high school baseball. He was an umpire, and he used to do a lot of the games that I played in high school against Penn Trafford. But he was a great source of knowledge for me, great support, and I appreciate that, that tremendously. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate his help. Another person, Bill Groff, now my fishing buddy. He became AD after Mr. Kelly retired, and we're still good friends today. My family. My parents were great. My mother worked so hard to make sure my brother and I had everything that we wanted, even though my father passed away when we were young. She made sure we had everything. And my mother remarried, and we had a wonderful stepfather, and he was just like our father to us. So it was great to have such great parents growing up. And my brother sitting back here, I'll admit to him now, he was the better football player than I was. And he also went to Clarion. He also graduated from Clarion. And my two kids, Matt, who flew in today from Brooklyn, New York. Actually, I think I lost his career. He's a graphic designer. Well, when he was a little kid, he used to do the covers for our scouting reports. And he did such a great job. The kids on the team said, "What's it going to be, Coach? This is like Wednesday, and we have a game to play Friday. They want to know what the scouting report's going to be for the next week." But I said, "We're playing the Panthers, and we're the Jayhawks. You know it's going to be a Jayhawk beating the crap out of a Panther." So, but I said, we got a game to play. But he did such a great job, and I'm so proud of Matt and his wife Kozaway. We were fortunate enough to be blessed with a great daughter-in-law, and can't say enough. And my daughter Artie, that's the reason why I'm in Cleveland now. That's where my daughter lives, in Cleveland, and her husband Kyle. And she, an interesting story about my daughter. I was coaching at Penn Trafford, and she was a cheerleader for Norwood. They're pretty big rivals. And it was homecoming at Norwood. And so they're playing Penn Trafford. Now, fortunately for me, I wouldn't get a chance to see this, and she's up for homecoming queen. And I told her, I says, "Artie, I don't know if the kids are going to vote for you because your dad's the coach of a pretty, your rival." She says, "I don't care. It was just nice to be nominated." And I thought that was great. So it's halftime, and I'm in the locker room drawing up stuff, and they're announcing the names of the girls, and they were going to announce the homecoming queen. And the kids from Penn Trafford grabbed me, because they didn't think I was going to go out, grabbed me and pushed me out onto the field, and lo and behold, my daughter's named homecoming queen. And the thing about it is they would drive around the stadium in a Jeep, with the homecoming queen, and when she goes past the Penn Trafford people, she got a bigger applause than I think she got from the Norwood people at that time. But that was always a fond memory. Unfortunately for her, Penn Trafford won the game. Again, my brother and I, both went to Clarion, played football, and he married someone from the same, not Olga, but her parents were from the same hometown as our grandparents, Montepella, Italy. And Olga's here tonight, and that's nice to see Olga here. And of course, last but not least, my wife, who we met in that vine-covered building at Clarion, Harvey Gym. And we've been together ever since. And she's supported me. Always had my bag of Gibbles potato chips after the games on Friday night. And I love her dearly. And this is a new adventure for us in Ohio. So I'd like to thank you and thank the committee. And one other observation I'd like to make. You coached for 45 years, and I noticed so many good young coaches coming along now to replace us old guys. And a couple that I know personally, and I'd like to recognize. We have Coach Hall at Jeanette, Coach Roy Hall at Jeanette, who I coached as a player, and also hired him as a coach at Jeanette. So Coach Hall, he's an up-and-comer. At Penn Trafford, we have Coach John Ruane, who did such an outstanding job this year. And at Norwood, where I coached, Dave Brzezinski. These are three really great young guys coming up and coaching, and I know there's others out there, but I just know these guys. I'd like to thank you, and I can't say enough what a great honor it was to receive this award, and thank all my friends for being here. And stick around, because I got to talk to you after this is over. Thank you very much.